Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to give you advice about universal rules that you should never ever break, even if you've broken them in your life. And I'm going to give you an example. Now, there's the law of human beings and there's the law of nature and there's laws that are beyond us, but Bashar likes to talk about them. I call them the universal laws of our dimension. Now, the first rule that you should never ever break is the law of free will.
What do I mean?
Sometimes in my workshops, I describe 7 levels of consciousness. And the level of consciousness that differs between the animals and human beings is this law of free will. And what do I mean? I'll give you an example from nature. In nature, mice may populate normally and in balance. But when mice come into the cities, they overpopulate. In nature, an animal will eat until it is full and it will wait. It will not get fat just sitting around, okay? But as closer as the animal is to human beings, like cats and like dogs, they do become fat. They do become obese. They do become larger because we have the law of free will. Now, this works in both directions. It's amazing because we may choose what we want, negative or positive. It is our own choice what it is that we want to achieve in our life and how we choose to live our life. Most human beings will choose to suffer. Why do we choose to suffer? Because we keep focusing on what it is that we don't want, and we're gossiping and we're watching the news all the time, and it's all about the misery and the government and the military and everybody's, and the darkness is trying to chase us, and that's the suffering part. Okay, we'll talk about that in another video. And of course, free will can also be the positive, which is, becoming more aware of who we are, focusing on the positive emotions, what makes me have more fun in life, enjoying life, loving, being in unity, all that green stuff. That again is free will. Now, what do I mean when I say do not break the law of free will? I'm not talking about yourself. I'm talking about other people in your life. For example, the reason that I can't sell anything, unlike a salesperson, is that I cannot try to persuade someone or change someone's mind. I have taken the point of view, and this is the second law, of the observer. Because the only way that you can really be focused on the present moment and step up from your ego to the soul level, the higher level of consciousness, and being more present, is to become the observer. If you haven't seen a video that I made a few weeks ago, I called it the librarian. And let me summarize it for you. The whole world is just a library of adventures. And if we step out of the 3D dimension, okay, and we imagine that the whole universe is just a huge library, and in every book in that library, there's an adventure. And that adventure is a single life. Now, we are the librarian who wrote the book, the librarian who read the books, but the librarian that wanted to experience the books. So in order to experience the books, the librarian has decided to step into a character, a temporary human experience, and forget that we were the librarian. And therefore, in true unity, when we see as the point of view of the librarian, the observer, we see everyone as ourselves. But as a separated ego, we try to influence people using our words and our energy. And how do we do that? We hang on to our beliefs, okay? We hang on to our thoughts. We are attached to the way that we feel. And what happens when we hang on to our belief? Think about it with me for a second. We need to reinforce that belief using information and data that we gather from around. And then we have to argue our belief because other people don't hang on to our belief. So we need to persuade them and convince them that our belief is the true one. This is mandling with the universal law of free will. We're actually trying to change other people. But you have to understand, people have a timeline of development, okay? Their belief can change here, and it can change here, and it can change here. This is the universal, okay, kind of a plan that creation created for them. We might feel that it's okay for us to interfere with free will if at this point in time we have arrived. as a teacher, as a guide, but never, and never we are trying to say what is true and what is not. Okay? And that is determined by the intonation of our voice. And this is the difference between judgment and reflection. When I talk with someone, I reflect, I don't judge. If I judge, it means I have an opinion, I have a belief. My belief is superior to yours because my belief is right, because it doesn't align with your beliefs. And then they will hear it through my intonation. That's judgment, okay? That's gossip. But when I'm talking as a reflection, as a guide, as a mentor, as somebody that is trying to assist, and it doesn't mean that I have to. There's a lot of times that I choose to be the observer. I just look at the scenario. I don't interfere at all. You know, as a yellow in the spiral dynamics, I have the upper point of view so I can see. And then I can talk and relate to the blue, to the green, to the orange in the same language that they can. And if you haven't seen the spiral dynamics, you have to see it. It's not a lot. It will be like an hour for all the colors, for all the meaningful colors. And look it up in my YouTube channel because it will give you a lot of base to how you can move beyond where you are right now. So, law number 1, do not meddle with other people's free will. So don't try to change their point of view, don't try to persuade them, and then you will see inside yourself that you are yourself on this line. You used to believe maybe in God, and then you believed in incarnation, and then you changed to believe in science, and then now you're believing in whatever. It doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't change anything. You might change from here to here, here to here. The idea here is that you are malleable. You are like plastilene, okay? You keep changing. So when you change, it doesn't mean that other people should change as well, okay? And we're not talking about just advice. We're talking about judgment. Because when you become the observer, there's nothing to judge. Everything is perfect and aligned. And you become much more in the present, which is what we all focus on. 99% of the people and their thoughts are always about a future that hasn't happened or analyzing a past that is detrimental to them. You know, a lot of self-judgment and stuff like that. But the people who are in the now, the soul level, the observer, is 99% of the time right here. When they're talking to you, they're just with you. They're not on the phone all the time. You know, when in a business meeting, they will turn off their phone. They won't look at the screen. They will make sure that their secretary doesn't come and annoy them during that time. Why? Because they know that they have to be focused on one thing at a time. Whatever it is that is in front of me. So, namaste, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I love you. I will see you in my next video.